Hey everybody, time for your weekly nugget. Today we're going to be talking about Control A. Some of you might know about it already. It's typically used to do a select all. And when we talk about these keys, of course, we're hitting the Control key, keeping it held down, and pressing A. So not together, not one at a time. Hold the Control key down and press A. And of course, you just tap lightly. So we're going to show you some of the areas that you can use Control A today that you might not have thought about. Probably the most common one to use it in is a Word document. So here I am in a Word document. This happens to be one of my tip sheets that I have in my Word classes. It's available for download off of my website, actually. And you could go in here and you could click anywhere and do a Control A, and it selects the whole entire document. I bet you some of you knew about that one already. And if you didn't, oh my goodness, it is such a fantastic command, better than selecting and having to do it that way. What other programs does it work in? It works in Outlook. Here I am in a folder. I've got 35 things in this folder. I've decided, you know what? I don't want any of these things. Click on one of them. That's a real key. Click on one of them. Hit your Control key and A. So Control A gets them all. What can I do with this? I can delete them. I can move them now to another folder. There's a lot of things that I can do with things once I have them selected. Another place that it works is in Excel. I just brought up a practice document that we use, and here's our data. We can see here we've got our header row and it goes down, and I could do it this way to select all my data. Sometimes it goes too far. Sometimes it doesn't go far enough. Sometimes I miss a column. I'm going to go anywhere in the middle of my data. I'm going to go Control A, and look what it does. It selects. It just knows that's what to select. Now, why didn't it select the stuff in column M? Why didn't it select the stuff above from row 1 to 6? Because there's blank rows and columns in there. So it just knows that. We're going to take this another step further here. If I go Control A again, now it selects the entire spreadsheet. And really what that's like is it's like going up to the top left-hand corner of my spreadsheet and selecting the whole spreadsheet. Now, I think the only time I would ever do this is if I wanted to clear the formats, or maybe there's some weird formatting in there. You're typing a number and it's giving you a date or something weird like that. You might clear the formats and the text would stay, text and numbers would stay, and the formats would be cleared. I wouldn't do something like, oh, I'm going to change my font to size 12, because that just formats way too many empty blank cells. The size of your spreadsheet is going to multiply 1,000,000 times, literally, because there's over 1,000,000 rows. So one more thing about that, there's little tiny mini lists all over. Click on exchange rate, Control A. It says, this is my little data list here. Exchange rate 1.24, shipping rate 10%. Notice where the blanks are. If I go over here to the instructions, Control A. Now, it doesn't look like it's selecting N and O, but that's okay because everything's in column M. If I go up and make that bigger so that I can see that there's nothing in N and O. It's a whole new world in Excel. Other places that it works. Let's say that I'm on the internet one day and I'm cruising around, and often I'll go up to the bar up here at the top and click once. It selects everything, doesn't it? And I would be able to type something. Some people press delete first and then type. What happens if I go to a spot and I click once and it selects it all, but then for whatever reason I click a second time? I'm going to use a really big one here. Here's a link on our website here. It's a really big one. It brings up some information. And if I click once up there, okay, it selects it all. But what happens for whatever reason I click a second time? Look at that. I'm right in the middle of it. Can you see it up here? It's just sitting there. And if I type, I'm going to be typing right in the middle of it. I sure don't want that. So I might be forced to have to take my mouse and drag. No way. Control A. Control A selects it all again, as if it was the first time you initially went up there and clicked on it. So Control A works there. I'd be able to go up there, type something else, and I wouldn't even have to click on anything. Just be able to just go right there. So that's really neat in there as well. A couple more places. If you are working with something like pictures, let's say I've got all these pictures and I want to do something with them. Maybe they're from your phone and you're displaying them. I want to select them all. Control A. Again, you have to click on the first one. Let me do that again. Click on one of them, doesn't matter really which one. Hit Control A and they all get selected. You're probably going to be able to see little blue around them. You can hit delete, you can move them to a folder. Usually your right mouse button will give you some options. What would you like to do with this? Look at, you could rotate them all in case they were all needing rotating. That's some picture stuff. And then in many dialog boxes, you can use this as well. So dialog boxes meaning when you click on something and it comes up with a box and makes you want to type something into it or pick something. I'm going to go to PowerPoint here, and this is something that we do in our PowerPoint class is we do an insert photo album. And then what we want to do is we want to pick a bunch of pictures to use in a slideshow. So we can go File, Disk, and it will list the last folder that I was looking at. And I've got all these dog pictures that I want included in my slideshow. I click on one of them. Guess what? Control A to select them all. And then when I click on Insert, it puts them all in. And I'm just going to put the icing on the cake there. And when I create it, it puts one for every slide that I have in here. Little bonus you got there learning how to create a photo album. So anywhere you need to select something, might have to click on the first one, Control A. So try it out on some of your various areas. I know that I've missed some just because there's so many places that we can use Control A. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed this nugget. Drop me a line in the comments if this has been helpful, or if you think of any other place that you can use Control A. Have a good day, everybody.